Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 8 of the Not Okay, It's Okay podcast. This is a space where it is okay to not be okay. Rashidah and I are licensed mental health professionals who are here to normalize mental health struggles and offer practical solutions for what life tends to throw at us on the daily. So, hello. And today we are discussing women's success in recovery. And today we have a very special guest, which I am going to hand over to Rashidah to introduce the great Nikki Tierney.
Yes, so Nikki Tierney. Let's start with that she's a loving mom.
I have the mom glow.
The mom glow. So this blew me away. You have 4 children. You have a 21-year-old triplets. Yeah. Ashley, Kyle, and Amanda, and the 17-year-old son named Cole. Yeah.
I read that.
Oh my God, that's why we're having her on.
Blessing. We did in vitro, and then we had our Disneyland baby. We went on our first vacation. I came home.
That is
pregnant.
we can continue talking about that, and that is so common for women who go through fertility treatments, and then they have, oftentimes multiples, and then as soon as their body relaxes a little bit, they're like, "Hey, you're pregnant. Here we go." Wild.
Why not? I love more.
But at least he didn't name them Mickey.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. So I'm sorry. Keep introducing Nikki.
This is going to be Nikki's been in sustained remission from opioid use for over a decade.
Amazing.
And that's so amazing. We lived in Monmouth County, specifically the Belford section of Middletown for the past 3 years. So you've been local.
Yeah.
Local girl.
Love it.
So even more than that, Nikki received her Juris Doctor with honors from Rutgers School of Law in Newark.
Newark for the New Yorkers like me. Amazing.
1997. Yeah. And you were elected to the Order of the Coif and was recognized for donating over 35 or more professional hours to the school's pro bono service program. That is amazing.
Yeah, Rutgers had some amazing law clinics, and it was my honor. I learned so much from them.
Yeah,
absolutely
that's amazing.
Yep.
And so you practiced law for nearly 10 years. Until your opioid use disorder became so severe that you had to surrender your license to practice. Okay, and we'll get into that.
Mm-hmm.
In 2007, after trying for years to remain abstinent from opioid and other drugs, you got to a point where you felt, really helpless and hopeless, and it seems like some desperation there, and you attempted to end your life. Okay.
I'm happy you're here.
Yeah, I am so happy you're here too. And your story is, again, amazing.
And then I'm like, finish the intro so she can tell her story.
I know. It's like cliffhangers, everybody. It's just really, this is just I just want to take my time with it.
No, I hear you. I'm playing.
Unknowingly, that began the start of your journey to health and wellness. And since you say that dark day in 2007, you finally sought treatment for your undiagnosed mental health disorder. And you focused on living your best life and moving forward from those past negative experiences. So towards that end, you returned to Monmouth University Graduate School, where you obtained your Master's in Science in Clinical Mental Health Counseling. Not a big deal. No. And concentration and addiction studies.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, nothing. Graduated 4.0 GPA.
Yeah.
And received the 2021 Advocacy Award from the Department of Professional Counseling. You're a major advocate. Absolutely. You're also a licensed associate counselor and certified drug and alcohol counselor. You're employed at our stomping ground, CPC Behavioral Healthcare, as a peer recovery specialist, which is in Jersey, y'all. For those because we get people from all over.
I'll get into my CPC
life-saving stuff happening
seriously.
at CPC.
Yeah. And you also worked at Jersey Innovative Service, where you work with children in the home. So that's amazing. So very well-rounded. This is amazing. She founded a small nonprofit with her kids in honor of her parents' Hope is Never Lost.
Love
That's beautiful. I'm going to cry already.
My mom always said that.
Hope is never lost. I love that.
She also volunteers on the steering committee of Long Branch Hears and the advisory board of Prevention Coalition of Monmouth County, the Middletown Township Municipal Alliance. You are famous.
I feel like Chandler Bing right now. Could you do any more, Nikki? Really?
One thing I
Okay.
left out,
What's
I do
that?
have 2 dogs and a grand dog.
Oh, that's
I know, I just
important.
wasn't sure.
That's
Yeah.
so
That's
important.
so
Chumley,
important.
Avery, and then my grand dog is Patches. That's
I love
Mandy's
it.
dog. She
Aw.
bought him when he was in college.
Shout
Yeah.
out to Patcha.
Yeah.
Oh, my pups.
And you
Amazing.
made it your mission to decrease stigma and barriers to treatment for mental health and substance use disorders.
Love it.
Wow.
Love it. Love it.
Amazing.
You are in the right place. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having
We
me.
cannot wait to hear your
Yes.
story and talk to you and be able to offer that to our listeners
Yes,
as well.
and we have listeners already out there.
Yes. Hey, Cheryl.
Hey,
Hey.
Forever, aka April.
Hi, April. I keep wanting to call you Eva, and then I'm like, forever.
Forever, ever.
Hi. Hey. And
Yes, thank you. This is a show that you want to stay tuned in, the full show. It's just such an inspiring story,
Mhm.
especially, being, a woman
Absolutely.
in recovery and
Yeah.
the barriers to
And
that.
yeah, so let's start there because Nikki, you came in and you were like, it's for women,
Yes.
recovery for women. So recovery is hard enough in
Mhm.
itself as a human, but can you speak on why the struggle is really so, I don't want to say more, but more
Yeah.
difficult for women?
So I'm almost 50. And back when I began my journey, it not only was there not a lot of resources,
Mhm.
but there weren't many women in recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And so back then, from being a child, I thought of an alcoholic as, a homeless white man drinking alcohol out of a bottle.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it actually buffered my denial because I didn't know any women
right.
alcoholics. Nonetheless,
Right.
women with, and it's alcohol use disorder, but back then
Sure,
they called them
sure.
Yeah.
alcoholics.
Right.
But or definitely not with opioid use disorder.
Absolutely, right.
And so for me, the shame, like what kind of mother, what kind of
Mhm.
person, what kind of it's against everything. I believe that the stigma is even higher related to women.
yeah.
There's more to lose. For example, in my case, I lost my marriage license, my law license, my driver's license, my home. I was, and not that any of that was wrong, but it actually compounded trauma, not being able to see my children or even talk to them for 9 months. Now,
Oh,
at some
my
point I
goodness.
wasn't well and it was appropriate, but I
Right.
believe
Yeah.
CPC
Yeah.
with the,
Yes.
integrated treatment, if we
Mhm.
could have got treatment as a family, they have family drug
Yes.
court now. They have a lot of programs
Yeah.
that would have, because 2 things
Mhm.
happened. There was trauma to my poor children because the girls went with my parents and the boys went with, at the time, my husband's parents, their
Okay.
paternal
They were-
grandparents, so they
okay.
weren't with each other.
Sure.
They were with me. They weren't. So yeah, it was very difficult. And then I find that many women I speak with, we may not have been the primary breadwinner. We
Mhm.
may be in abusive relationships. We
Mhm.
may have maladaptive coping mechanisms,
Absolutely.
which makes setting boundaries difficult.
Mhm.
And, again, almost anyone with children, I've seen at an AA meeting, a
Mhm.
closed AA meeting, somebody be told they can't bring their children in.
Right.
How do you find time for self-care as a mom, let alone self-care and recovery?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Wow.
definitely, and
Mhm.
I feel that women, the other part is the consequences
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
standing up and saying, I have a mental health disorder, I have a
Mhm.
substance use disorder.
Right.
Obviously, and we'll touch on this later, the advocacy part is it's also been criminalized.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you can, with all due respect, and I know that this is a very hard concept for
Mhm.
people when we
Mhm.
use the word disease.
Mhm.
Almost all diseases are contributed to by some form of behavior. I'll keep it on the eye.
Mhm.
My mother
Mhm.
had lung cancer.
Mhm.
Okay.
Nobody said, you smoked, you got what you deserve. We're not giving you treatment if you're
Absolutely.
still smoking.
You're
We're not going to
demonized.
remove the
Mhm.
tumor. We're not going to help you.
Mhm.
Nobody
Wow.
did that to her.
Exactly.
But with me, if, I had a dirty drug screen, we called them at the time, I wasn't allowed to see my kids and they weren't allowed to see me. And obviously, again, we want to keep everybody safe, but I'm not sure that
Right.
just a relationship alone with a person with a substance use disorder presents the hazard we think it does.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
it could actually work in the opposite way.
Yeah.
Keeping your children from you is damaging to the relationship together, the connection, the bond.
Yes.
It's worse
Right.
that, wow.
And again, I was very fortunate. I always say, but for the grace of God go I. My children were in family placement.
Mm-hmm.
If they were
Right.
in foster care, I would have been
Uh-huh.
given 1 year to recover before the termination proceedings started.
Oh,
The
I have such
trauma
chills.
to children of that.
Mhm.
Who
Yeah.
can fully recover in a year? Walk a mile into the woods, you walk a mile out. Putting this made up barrier of a
parameters.
year, and then they are adopted, oftentimes away from siblings, and rights are permanently terminated. And there's a plethora of studies to show
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
an ACE for children, even to
Yes.
be
Oh, yes,
separated
yes,
momentarily.
Sure.
Yes.
Now again, safety comes 1st. I
Mhm.
get that. I am not at all
Mhm.
suggesting, but
Right.
this idea that because somebody is struggling, again, in my case, it happened to be undiagnosed mental illness.
Uh-huh.
I had a horrible medical incident when I was 12.
Okay.
14, sorry.
Mhm.
I perforated a hole in my stomach. I was playing my first varsity basketball
Oh,
game
my
ever.
goodness.
Everybody's like, the freshman's nervous. She's choking.
Uh-huh.
I had played at high levels. I was
No,
an
you were quite
athlete.
the player. I read
Yeah.
about you, Nikki.
I was an
Uh-huh.
athlete. I'm like,
Yep.
this isn't nerves.
Mhm.
Somehow, this is great. I ate tree stump remover when I was 2 because my inability to follow rules I was born with. And they think a little bit stayed in my stomach, and my stomach eventually erupted. So that
Whoa.
night, I had life-saving surgery, and I never forget this. My whole childhood, I was afraid of death. I had this just preoccupation with dying. Even though I
Sure.
lived in a beautiful home, beautiful
Mhm.
neighborhood, loving
Mhm.
parents, I was
Mhm.
worried about dying.
Mhm.
I'm laying on a table much like this. It's
Mhm.
steel and I'm
Mhm.
cold. And for the first time in my life, I'm closest to death and I'm not afraid of dying.
Mm.
But it was not a come to Jesus moment. There were no bright lights.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Morphine coursing through my vein.
Right.
I
There
was
you
high.
go. Absolutely.
I was high, and it took away my anxiety.
You were safe.
Right. So I stay in the
Mhm.
ICU for about 2 weeks. I go home on
Ugh.
Percocet, and I will never forget. They told my parents, do not let the pain get ahead of her. Once the
Mhm.
pain
Right,
comes,
stay
get
on top
4
of
to
it.
6 hours, 4 to 6 hours,
Mm.
4 to 6 hours.
Mhm.
I was on Percocet. Then I started thinking that it was happening again. I was probably in retrospect having what we would call panic attacks or
Panic.
anxiety.
PTSD
Right.
response.
So
Absolutely.
I would go back to the hospital. They would give me phenobarbital and Maalox and send me home. Now my parents don't know if I'm dying. So when we
Right,
say
right.
undiagnosed mental illness, we thought I had a
Sure.
physical issue.
Right.
And it was pills,
Uh-huh.
pills.
Mhm.
Then I started, of course, exploring alcohol and
Mhm.
other substances, cocaine. And as we all know,
Mhm.
the earlier a brain is introduced
Yep.
to these substances, exponentially
Absolutely.
higher.
That's what
Yeah.
we had Ken Pecoraro and Mike Teddy
Yes,
on
yes,
last
last
week
week.
talking about addiction, and they said just that, the earlier the child's brain is, and bodies are exposed, the worse it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Down
just
the
the
road.
damage to the neurons and
Absolutely.
the receptors and the amygdala.
Yeah,
And we say it
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
You're basically your emotional growth stunts when you start.
absolutely.
So
right
I'm
there.
14,
Mm-hmm.
with all due respect,
Mhm.
snorting cocaine,
Mhm.
drinking,
Mhm.
or getting
Absolutely.
Percocets or phenobarbital
Right.
every time I have a panic attack.
Right. Yeah.
So
right.
and I'm just, what I'm hearing is that you would have these panic attacks, and that you were introduced to this world of like, oh, pop a pill, the pain will go away, you'll
so
be on
will
a
the
rainbow.
anxious thoughts and
Yeah.
the
Right?
fears. Sure.
I don't know if you've ever had phenobarbital, but whoo,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
14. At that time, I weigh 80 pounds. A different story.
I mean,
And every time I'm nervous, I think I'm dying. My parents think I'm dying.
Mhm.
We rush. Again, family
Yeah.
disease.
Yeah.
We all rush. Phenobarbital. God,
Right. Absolutely.
And you're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
good.
not
I'm
dying.
safe. I'm
Yeah.
not dying.
Yeah.
And the alarms
Yeah.
stop going off.
And it works. And that's why
On
you do it because it
Wow.
works. Why would you not do something that
Right.
works? And again, it's
and
not.
the doctors are prescribing it.
Right.
Right. So you think
we
it's
trust-
okay.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
It's not abdicating responsibility. It's not
No,
that I don't. It's just
absolutely.
that this works.
But this is how it happens for so many people, Nikki. I mean, people go in for back surgery and
Yeah.
they're given Oxy, right? Or
Mhm.
Percocet or whatever it is. And then they experience horrible pain after, and they go to a pain management clinic, or they go, and they get
Yes.
prescribed for a little while, and then they're cut off. And then what do? So many people
Mhm.
in pain then go and get heroin because
Yeah.
we can find it and it's cheaper.
Again, and why wouldn't you? I mean, the only
If you know,
time,
right.
right?
Mhm.
The only time I felt and I'm not a big fan of the word, but normal. But
Mhm.
looking at it now,
Uh-huh.
it's really at peace would be
Yeah.
the correct
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
I'm playing sports,
Mhm.
I'm studying,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
I'm high or drunk.
Mhm.
And that's it.
Absolutely.
So in
Which explains your
yeah,
incredible, all of the stuff you attained as
two
a
things were
basketball
good,
player.
right?
Yes.
2 master's degree, a law degree. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Valedictorian. I got
Right.
straight A's in
Mhm.
undergrad.
Mhm.
I graduated with top honors in law
Mhm.
school, and I got straight A's with a master's.
Mhm.
So again, reading for me
Mhm.
is cathartic.
Uh-huh.
Memorizing, studying,
Okay.
it helps the
Mhm.
rumination.
Okay.
It
It
was good.
also keeps your brain occupied
Right.
and distracted
Yeah,
from the thoughts of I'm dying or is this going to happen again?
exactly.
Yeah.
When I was
Wow.
studying, I wasn't nervous.
Mhm.
So, but again, double-edged sword. So I graduated 9th in the class. I was a McDonald's Academic All-American. I actually made the junior Olympic team for soccer too. Yeah, it was just
No
like
big deal. I mean, really?
arrested
Amazing.
3 times in high school.
Arrested
3 times.
3 times.
With other police involved activities,
Uh-huh.
driving while
Mhm.
drunk,
Uh-huh.
crashes, like a million signs.
Wow.
Again, different
Mhm.
times,
Different
different
times.
new-
Yeah,
Sure.
and I think about that time, where this, it was real. There
Mhm.
used to be commercials where it was like this person in an alleyway and it's dark and they were going to jump out at you.
Right. Well, that's when addicts, right, looked a certain way.
Yes.
Like
The
you said,
word was
Yes.
different
an
then.
alcoholic
Yes.
was, a
Yes.
homeless person drinking a bottle.
Right.
That's when
right.
we were taught that addiction looks this way.
Yes. Yeah. absolutely.
Addiction can't be
Right.
a Caucasian woman or an African American
Yes.
No
woman.
way.
With,
yes, or someone with a career, a
Absolutely.
nurse, a
No way.
doctor.
Or
Yeah,
children, a mother.
an
Yeah.
all-state
Right.
athlete.
Right.
I have a
Yeah.
and as
absolutely.
time went
Wow.
on, again, I got the full scholarship. Okay, senior year, I hurt my knee,
Mhm.
another surgery, more
Oh,
Vicodins, more Percocets.
Right.
I go on a full scholarship to a school in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
Now things are bad. I'm getting straight A's, which is great. I'm
Mhm.
playing basketball. I play soccer there too. I get attacked by a dog,
Oh my goodness.
and I needed
Mm.
7 facial plastic surgeries. My nose, everything.
Oh my goodness.
Pills and pills and pills and pills. And now I also have very low self-esteem. I
Yeah.
have psoriasis. I have a lot. Again, we know drinking and alcohol
Right,
wasn't.
but our inner
Right.
critic
Right.
gets louder.
Yes,
It
yeah.
gets
so that
louder,
wasn't the
sure.
problem. That was what I was dealing with,
Ugh.
my low self-esteem and my anxiety.
Mhm.
And my face is mauled. And people stare at me when I go
Sure.
out.
Okay.
And, I had skin grafts. So
Mhm.
now I've got low self-esteem. I feel like whatever. And,
Uh-huh. Right.
so I continue and, everything is legal.
Mhm.
Everything is fine. And I graduate and I get a postgraduate scholarship for $15,000 from the NCAA because
Wow.
I was an academic All-American. I didn't know what to do.
Can I bow now?
I mean, no big deal,
No,
queen.
I
really.
mean, again, like this is balancing anxiety. So this is where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, right,
like
Kristen?
again, I'm playing soccer. I'm playing that. And if I'm not doing that,
Mhm.
I'm drinking or getting surgeries and taking pills.
Right,
and this is
right.
how I exist.
That
Never
was
at
your
peace.
the maladaptive.
Never.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep. The
2
skill.
of them were decent.
Yeah.
Then I go to law school.
Yeah, and how was that? Like, I mean, I'm sure that was like very stressful.
Get it. Law school was like really hard, and I never wanted to be a lawyer. I did it because I got this $15,000, and
Amazing.
now I don't
Mhm.
play sports anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out of college. I got to grow up.
Right.
So now I really only have my studies. I get my first B in life, a B plus, I think, anyway.
Mhm.
And I'm
Were you
crushed.
devastated?
Yeah, I don't understand. It's very
Mhm.
competitive, and I start getting prescriptions for other reasons. I'm
Mhm.
able to, again, I can, I'm articulate. I go to the
Mhm.
law
Yeah,
school
yeah.
health center at some point
Right.
and might
I'm
have gotten
feeling
pills.
this,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
feeling-
I,
right.
you know what I mean? And
Right.
Nobody-
A girl who looks like this couldn't
Right.
possibly abuse
No.
a prescription.
and not only did it keep me sick, but it
Mhm.
helped me.
Sure.
I never even knew anxiety existed.
Right.
I thought it was made up to get pills. I
Mhm.
didn't know there was real
There was
anxiety
something
because
wow.
I was numb since
Mhm.
almost I was 14.
Right.
You know,
right.
I
Yeah.
never knew these things.
Wow.
So in
Mhm.
law school, things were bad. When I took the bar, I
Mhm.
was taking pills legally
Mhm,
prescribed for this
mhm.
problem, that
Sure,
problem.
yeah.
And, again, you're paying me $250 an hour to solve your problems. This is
Mhm.
going back to 2005.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
What about-
2007. You think
right.
I have a problem?
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I mean, now
right.
and then people were approaching me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
now I have the arrogant. Now my
Mm.
maladaptive coping mechanism is my arrogance.
Mm.
People are beginning to see chinks and worried and this and that.
In the armor.
Right.
Yeah.
And things are starting to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
The reasons for the pills are running out. My facial repair is done. I don't have sports anymore.
Right.
I put on some weight.
So how do you cope?
Yeah, things are not good.
How do
And
you
I'm getting
cope?
sicker inside.
Uh-huh,
I'm more
sure.
and more quote unquote successful on the outside.
Uh-huh.
And I'm breaking.
So
inside.
now it's like not only are you having to survive, but you're also doing this impression management, right? Where you have to keep up appearances
Yes.
for being the lawyer, this
Yes.
scholar, student, athlete who's
Yes.
been awarded all. Wow.
I
Okay.
married my high school sweetheart,
Mhm. Wow.
junior year of college.
Mhm.
We were the only one of our friends who bought a beautiful home, BMW convertible, Mustang convertible. Oh, yeah, you know. And again, I'm
Mhm.
broken.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm just broken. And
Well, you're sick.
yeah,
You're sick.
right? And I don't even know.
Yeah.
You don't know because there's
Yeah.
no, mental illness. What mental illness?
right.
Who?
Right.
Because what did mental illness look like then?
You-
We were
Yeah.
Forget about that stigma.
Geraldo Rivera had just
Geraldo.
busted into Willowbrook, with,
Right?
Yes.
people sitting in their own feces, and
Right, right.
so that's what.
No.
Which is why we can have a moment of gratitude right now in that mental health is becoming a lot more clear
Oh,
to
yes.
people.
Right.
And mental health can look like you and I and you and
Yes.
whoever else. And and it's accepted. Well, we're working towards
Yeah,
it.
we
We're
are.
getting
Yeah.
there.
We
We're
are.
getting there.
Yeah.
We've definitely
absolutely
broken
are.
ground. So just a moment of gratitude for that.
Yeah.
So so you're sick.
Yeah, I'm not well, but everything
Mhm.
screams well. And now
Right.
I have more defenses. I have,
Mhm.
with all due respect, a little power and a little money. I'm a local whatever, you
Mhm.
know.
Sure.
And then I have the triplets. And that was a lot. It was a lot on the body.
Yes.
I drove to Delaware every day before, before work to get my estrogen levels and all this. I'm taking
Wow.
hormones. I'm doing this.
Mhm.
And in my mind, I always wanted to be a mom, but I also thought that children would make me full. I thought that as soon as I get the kids,
Right.
Yes.
I'm not going
Right.
to need to drink. I was made to be a mom.
Uh-huh.
I love being a mom.
So it would fill the void.
Right.
It would, if you perceived yourself as broken, you're now whole again.
Right. I'm a
Yeah.
mom.
And,
Wow.
and in a sense,
Yes.
you feel like it would save you.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to save me.
Mhm.
Exactly. And again, we're talking as women.
Mhm.
In high school, I got pregnant and
Mhm.
had an abortion. And
Which
now
is trauma.
in my mind,
Mhm.
I can't get pregnant because of my abortion. So
You're
now
being
I'm
punished?
fixated. Exactly.
Being
Yes.
punished.
No good Nikki
Mhm.
is being
Oh,
punished by this
no good
unloving,
Nikki. Is that-
hateful God.
Is that
Oh,
how
yeah.
you referred to yourself?
Back then.
Oh, Nikki, my heart
Back
absolutely
then,
just
always.
broke.
And then it became an obsession to get
Yeah,
pregnant. And I'm
sure.
driving, then going back and handling cases.
Right.
And your stress level is up here. So how could your body ever be calm
Never.
enough to receive? And
Never.
oh wow.
And then I get pregnant. And after I got pregnant was after I gave birth to the kids, that's when things got real bad. And this is, was a very low point. I was, the girls, they were all in the NICU. They were born at 3'8", 3'9", and 3'11", very, very sick.
wow.
And my son had to stay after the girls got released. So now I have 2 kids home, a child in the NICU. So much, I had to go get in vitro, and I had to have 3, and that's why they're sick. So more self-hatred, guilt, all of these negative
Blame.
things.
Yeah.
Inner critic is so loud.
And his, childhood pulmonologist comes, and I'm supposed to be hearing if my son's going to breathe and how we're doing this. And I stole his prescription pad. Wow. In the diaper bag. And that to me is the beginning of trying to help people understand
Yeah.
there's no bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
I needed pills, or I thought I needed pills to be normal, to be a mom, to survive, to work, to be all these things I
Or
thought
I
mattered.
will die, or I will not make it,
Right.
or this
Or-
is
yeah.
not going to work. Life isn't going to work.
I can't. I
Yeah.
can't. I can't
Wow.
breathe. I can't. I've never lived. Now I've been basically on one substance or another since I'm 14, and I did that.
Wow.
And then I have coal.
Mhm.
And at that same time,
Mhm.
I got arrested for the first time writing the false prescription.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I was on probation while I was pregnant as an attorney. With
How does that affect you as an attorney?
I got reprimanded.
A
Normally,
reprimand.
you
Wow.
would have been suspended, but they looked at my medical history and they used it as a mitigating circumstances, and I got a reprimand.
Wow.
And I got, quote unquote, a chance.
A chance, which extend. Wow.
Now-
So, what was the chance? Was it help? Was
all
it?
I could have gone,
Mhm.
they ordered me to treatment. They
Mm-hmm.
ordered me to treatment. They
Mhm.
ordered me to get help. I have 3 beautiful children, another one on the way.
Mhm.
Just all of these things. And I wasn't able to reach it.
So Nikki, I just want to kind of go back,
Wow.
and I'm, what's glaring at me is, when that happened, when the legal issues happened, you know, what, I think about the stages of change at that point. Where were you at that point? Were you in that, contemplative, like, I think I got a problem,
Or pre-contemplative, where you don't
I'm
even
still,
recognize
where were
it's
you
a
at
problem.
with that?
Not even on the
So
circle.
not even
on the like
in the
it
stage.
never
Right.
occurred to me
Mhm.
really. Like,
Mhm.
I was at the same time I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I'm now taking beta seron injections. I have lesions on my brain. I deserve pills. I'm not a bad person. I
Okay.
do all this. Like, what? Okay, I can't find a doctor to give me pills, but I only have an hour a day to get pills, so I can't go to doctor's office. So I'll just steal a pad. Like, this is
Wow.
I
Right,
mean,
that's how.
I hear what it sounds like now.
Right.
But this is I had a
There was
managed
desperation,
time.
though.
Exactly.
It was
Absolutely.
desperation.
Exactly.
It was
And
like life or death. I need to
Right.
take this pad so I can get my pills to feel okay to
Right.
be able to
Right. To
be
function.
with my babies.
I don't know. Right. Exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly.
I just want to take a moment.
Oh,
Hey,
sure.
Alona, Kimberly, Marsha,
Hi.
Very, very interesting, painful honesty. Bravo. Yes, bravo. Star. I'm proud of my mental illness. It may not define me, but it is a part of who I am. I don't look at it as a bad thing. I look at it as a great thing.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yes.
Part of our
Queen.
identity.
Yes.
Amen.
Absolutely. At CPC, we used to do this in group. A petal on a flower.
Yes.
We would draw. Do we still do that there?
No.
I'm like, do we still do it? We used to draw a flower and think of ourselves as the flower. And the mental illness or addiction was one petal on the flower that is you. And we would identify all the
Yes.
other petals. I am brave. I am strong. I'm a wonderful mother. I'm a great daughter. I'm smart. Like all of those
Yeah.
things. So yes.
So
I
wanna,
agree.
So I want to deep dive into this. So, and take me back. So now you're told, okay, you got to go to treatment, right? And what was that like?
So
Mhm.
this is again like where power and money comes into play.
Mhm.
I rent space now. I've left my firm because 2 things: I have 3 kids and a problem, and things are not starting to,
Sure.
whatever. So I have my own practice now in a doctor's office, and next door is a substance use counselor.
Mhm.
And so I represented the doctor for writing too many scripts before the medical board. He couldn't pay me. So I said, you know what? Hand me your pad and we'll call it even. So I got arrested for the pediatric pulmonologist pad, but I had another pad and unlimited money to get what I wanted.
Unbelievable.
So,
Right.
and now I have multiple sclerosis, and doctors are prescribing these to me with no questions. I get regular
So no
prescriptions.
one would flag it at
No.
the
And you were going
the
to different
pharmacist.
doctors.
Oh, different
Okay.
so
pharmacy.
shopping for pills, right?
And if
which
I
is really
take-
common.
Yeah, if I take a drug, and I have a pad and unlimited money, and if I take a drug test, I'm positive for Percocet because my neurologist, I have MS. And again, this is well
So it's
documented.
completely
Back then, they
legitimate.
didn't have what do you call
Was
it?
it the PMP?
No, back then, no, they didn't have the PMP, but they also didn't have levels. So when you took
Oh,
one,
so
you know how
measuring,
now, we
right.
can tell,
Right.
you cut
This is
that
how
in
You didn't
much-
just take one
Yeah.
Xanax. You took 4 bars of Xanax.
So Nikki Tierney's
Gotcha.
on 60 pills a day
Right.
and showing up. So
Right.
then, I went to rapid detox. I'm going to go in a coma. They comatize you for 3 days. You wake up,
To
everything's out of your
detox you.
body. It's called,
Mhm.
And this is going to solve my problem. This is where you're at in the
This is it,
stage of change.
Right.
3 days, I'm done.
I'm done. What
And
problem?
It's $15,000. I have the cash because I'm nothing but successful. I have no issue. You know,
Right.
and anyway, this is a thought process.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that did not work. And
Mhm.
after that was the beginning of the end.
Mhm.
I was arrested again in 2005, I believe, 100% from at that point I had upgraded to Demerol. And I started throwing seizures.
Wow.
Now, they
boy.
thought it could be related to the MS
Right,
and the
the
lesions. Yeah.
Mhm.
And one of the seizures was May 30th, 2005,
Mhm.
in front of my 4 beautiful children and my parents. I broke my skull open,
Oh my God.
fractured my left frontal lobe. To this day, I cannot smell and I have no hearing in my left ear and I have very slight Bell's palsy. But then I needed a life-saving craniotomy. 2005. If you recall, my journey started in 2007. So again, there's no bottom.
Right.
There's no, she's finally going to learn.
Yeah.
Right.
There was no lesson to be learned.
There was, right.
I didn't know how to do anything without, unfortunately, what became my best friend.
Right. Yeah.
So
Right.
I have stitches. I look like Britney Spears with her head shaved.
Mhm.
I have staples.
Mm.
My face is paralyzed, and I go straight to a drugstore with my prescription pad. Another 2 years of just insane living, overdosed twice on Percocets, because I don't know, sometimes people don't realize you can overdose
Yeah.
on legal
Yeah.
drugs.
Absolutely.
Saved my Narcan twice.
God bless
Constantly in
Narcan.
4-point, right there, but
Yep.
there before the grace of God, constantly in 4-point restraints, constantly in jail, constantly in trouble. The kids are gone, everything is gone, and I literally live. I
Right.
exist
Exactly.
in abandoned buildings, and on occasion, my father would come and rent me a place at Fairbanks. Wow. Yeah. And I never forget, he said, I don't know if I should be happy when I walk in that you're alive
See
or
you,
sad.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, Nikki.
I just
wow.
didn't know, and
So where was your mental state at that point? Now your kids are not there with you,
law license is gone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, sorry, let me back up. What happened was in September of 2007, I was allowed 1 hour a week
With your
the kids.
children, right?
And the triplets were in school, and I had Cole. I went to the beach and I got really drunk. I had no access to pills anymore. I have no money, no pads, nothing, no car.
Mhm.
And I couldn't swim. And I was arrested and charged with endangering his welfare. I was immediately put in the crisis unit. I don't know if I had a seizure in the water, if I was just drunk, don't know. Cole was obviously upset that day, very upset. And that's when the no contact order came in place. And that's when basically everybody said, we're done with Nikki. So that was September of 2007. And from that point, I told Ken one time, I don't think for about the better part of 3 months, I spoke with a human being, and I literally just, again, existed
And Ken is
on the streets. Ken Pecoraro.
Ken, the one and only
Yeah,
Ken
we'll introduce
Pecoraro.
Ken in a
Right.
bit, so
Uh-huh.
he's part of the journey.
Yeah.
And,
I have to tell you, I'm sitting here literally fighting back tears, and
yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
telling myself,
Same here.
look at her now. Look at her now. That's what's like keeping me
Hope.
grounded.
This
Look
is
at
hope
her.
is never lost.
Uh-huh,
This is what that
which
is.
we
And
need to
yeah.
talk. Yeah.
For the families.
Uh-huh.
For the families, my
Uh-huh.
poor children, my poor parents. And again, for a society,
Uh-huh.
this idea that there's a bottom, this idea that it's a
right.
choice, I
It's not a
didn't
choice.
want to be
It's a
that
disease.
person.
Yeah.
Right. No.
Didn't want to be the person. And that's why I put there, I tried abstinence. I really did.
Mhm.
I tried. I tried more than anyone will ever know. I
Mhm.
tried. It didn't work.
Mhm.
It didn't work. And so the dark night, again, the little girl who was so afraid to die,
Mhm.
I didn't want to live this way anymore, but I didn't know any other way to live.
Right.
I'm facing
Right.
7 years in jail for endangering the welfare of my child. I was charged with second degree.
Oh.
Second degree, 7 years in jail. The plea offer was 5. I can't go to drug court because I can't stay off drugs. I can't do anything. So anyway, that is the night. I cut myself, and amazingly, I never forget this. My father had stopped by the place I was staying, and I was running from the police with a beer, saying to myself, I either want to run long enough so I bleed out, or run long enough to drink this beer so I can't feel. And that was the last drink the last time when of the night with cutting myself. And then I began the journey of recovering very, very slow. And this is where my advocacy for women comes in, because for the first 6 months, I was a leper. No children, nothing.
No contact.
Nothing. Not even a card. Nothing. And it was really hard to incentivize myself.
Yeah, where did you get the motivation?
On stage of change, I'm in like active, but
Right.
what am I getting sober for again?
Right. Who's
Right,
around? Who's
I
gonna
have
be
no
there to
job.
connect with?
I have no law license. And in New Jersey, if you're a disbarred attorney, you can't work with lawyers. So I couldn't be at a table with you. I can't share office space with you. So it's almost like a Megan's Law for disbarred attorneys.
Right.
So what I've done for the past 10 years, I don't have a contact, get a job. What am I going to get? I can't put that on my resume. So again,
Wow.
you know.
Of course. Oh my
So
goodness.
I go to IOP at CPC.
CPC.
So yeah.
CPC
And
healthcare.
this you're going to love, because so now I stopped drinking because things are really bad and I really can't drink. And there's a million different things. I did go inpatient for a while, and I don't have access anymore. So it's kind of like this forced sobriety. And I went to IOP before I got sentenced, because no one was going to tell me to go to IOP. I make all the decisions. So
Okay.
even, you know, even abstinent,
Hold
Nikki
on.
runs the show.
I say
Like-
who I say when I say who. Yes.
Our least favorite word is no, and I don't.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to rush to IOP. So when I get there, I've already done IOP. So and that was the life-changing moment. I walked into CPC. I met Ken. I did IOP, and maybe 6 months into it, I was struggling so bad I wanted to hurt myself again. It was just terrible. And Ken said to me, "Have you ever seen a psychiatrist?" And I was never so hurt in my life.
Right. Like, how
I
could
said,
you possibly
he
even?
thinks,
I'm crazy.
and I hate the word. I say he thinks I'm crazy. The one person I've spilt my everything to, and I've told him everything.
Right.
I thought like
It feels like a betrayal.
Yeah.
and it was life-saving. I never have taken another pill after I got the psychiatric care. I've never, ever. And again, I have watched my father bleed to death in front of me. My mother died of a broken heart within 15 months, and she was on hospice, and there's fentanyl, there's everything right there. It never occurred to me, because now the reason for the substance use, the mental health, is taken care of.
Well, you're processing with Ken,
Right?
You're talking about it.
Yeah.
You're freeing yourself of the demons, the negative core
cause,
beliefs
yes, the
that
need is
you've
gone.
had.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
So someone is asking, what is IOP? And Abby, that's an intensive outpatient program.
Hi, Mom. That's my mom.
Oh, Abby. Hey. Great question.
So, an intensive outpatient program.
Yeah.
Yes,
After I
yes.
went inpatient. So I went inpatient for 28 days to Bergen Pines, where basically people that are experiencing homelessness go, because I have no insurance. CPC, this is real important, took me in with nothing.
CPC.
I had no insurance. I had nothing. When I went to finally try to see my children, I needed records to prove I was at CPC. Ashley, I believe is her name, copiously made copies, did everything. She had them, and she said, you know, it's $35. And my face dropped. She said, pay it when you can.
Amazing.
Yeah. And that's CPC.
That is CPC.
That's
And
CPC.
I say all the time, CPC, I consider my birthplace.
Seriously.
They,
we got to shout out
incredible.
Haley.
Hey,
CPC.
Haley.
She's a CPC
Christian,
fan.
Are we good to? Do you have anybody coming in? Okay.
So
I just want to make sure.
So I want to, because this is good. This is some good
I
stuff.
can't stop.
So I want to just touch on, a lot of times, people, in addiction will say, that the substance numbs me. It, I don't have to feel.
It takes away the pain. It takes away the voices.
Yes,
it takes away.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what was that like for now having to no numbing agent and having to feel?
Or was processing with Ken
In recovery, we say the good thing about
Uh-huh.
it is, and I don't like the word sober, I have a lot of things I don't like,
Uh-huh.
but anyway, the good
Share
thing
it.
about it is you get your feelings back.
Mhm.
And the bad thing about it is you get your
Get your
feelings
feelings
back.
back. Right. The good thing is that I can feel again. The bad thing is that I can feel again.
Here's my
Absolutely.
great Ken story.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what I was telling him, but
Mhm.
I was crying, and I always stayed after they're knocking on his door, and he's like, all right, wrap up. We can talk about this later. I was
Mhm.
like, I can come back at 3. And he's like, I meant next week. I was like,
Because I could go. I could go all night. I could go all day. Listen,
now that I'm on this Zoloft and
Right.
I realize that
Yes.
processing
Yes.
is how you
Right.
do things. And again, this is where it comes into. I never really had girlfriends. I had my mom, of course. I had my sister,
Sure.
but I never had bonds.
Mhm.
My bonds were to substances. My
Mhm.
bonds were
Right.
fake. I was
Mhm.
never authentic with a person in my life. I didn't even know how.
And unbeknownst to you, likely, because this is just the way
Yeah.
you've lived.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I
Absolutely.
can't bill you or
Mhm.
drink with you, I really have no use for you.
How do we bond?
Right.
How do we connect? Absolutely.
You know, like that's the focus of my life.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all is, so it was, the experience of IOP and CPC and having, a woman say to me, who I lost my kids, and not look at me like, what kind of mother loses her kids,
Mhm.
but pat me on the hand and say, pay when you can.
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
to me,
That's
you
true.
and not
support.
every woman has
Uh-huh.
that opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's who we're
I
here for.
feel like, and Marsha, who is one of the kindest hearts out there, said it's a story for a movie, and I hope with a happy ending. And I feel like I'm sitting next to the next Erin Brockovich.
We're getting to the very happy ending, trust me.
Yeah,
I want to be in the movie somewhere though.
Oh, Rashidah.
I want to just have one scene. I could be just walking
You were my
by.
supervisor. You definitely have a role in
Oh,
there.
yeah,
She was. Rashidah was my supervisor.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Screenwriter was good.
So yeah, like I literally feel like I'm sitting with the Erin Brockovich of recovery right now, and
But,
so
yeah.
much family. I mean, boom, my mind is
Yes.
blown. So now you don't like the word sober. What do you like?
Journey of wellness.
Journey of
Mhm.
wellness.
Yeah, because
so
it
now,
was never about the substances.
Uh-huh.
It was
Right.
never about abstinence.
right.
And
It's about
sober.
learning how to feel.
well,
Uh-huh.
being well. I've been
Okay.
diagnosed with major depressive disorder
Mhm.
and
Sure.
generalized anxiety disorder. Now again, this goes back maybe 2010.
Mhm.
I went to parenting classes. I had a parenting mentor. I threw myself. Now I
Mhm.
quiet my mind by reading
Mhm.
nothing but stuff on recovery
Uh-huh.
and taking
Yeah.
classes and learning. I was never a sober mom. This
Mhm.
became my life mission.
Mhm.
I also knew I needed to find a higher power who couldn't be Nikki's
Yeah.
alternate voice.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
if not, she approves of doing things
Absolutely.
that Nikki does.
No, exactly.
So I went back to the old traditional God and I
Mhm.
decided to read the Bible from
Wow.
cover to cover
Okay.
because
Yep.
again,
Because I gotta
So,
read. I gotta.
I'm doing everything right
Mm-hmm.
and I still want to die.
Mhm.
I still
Mm.
feel a darkness. I think it's important. This Dr. Scott at CPC told me
Mm-hmm.
that I actually probably had PTSD from what I went through. And I guess
Which part?
I
mean,
discounted
so much
that
PTSD
you can
there.
cause it to yourself.
Ah.
And that's irrelevant, Nick.
Uh-huh.
You went through, I
Uh-huh.
went, I
Right,
was in
right,
jail. I was in jail.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
yeah. So you
Mhm.
get it. So,
yeah. No. Right.
and I started, now, thank God I'm getting psychiatric treatment. And I did go for, ECT.
ECT.
Okay.
and in the hospital, I'm getting intravenous. And even though that wasn't
Yeah.
my thing, that triggered the substance use part. And so I
Mhm.
couldn't finish that.
Mhm.
And living with mental illness has been a challenge. But much to your point,
Mhm.
it's a part of who I am. And it's also very
Yeah.
rewarding
Absolutely.
because this is what drove me to the field I'm in.
Right.
And and learning that, guess what? You can be depressed and be a mom.
Mhm.
You
Yes.
can have
Yes.
anxiety and be a mom.
Yes.
Hi, that's me.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Like
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wasn't like I have psoriasis.
Mhm.
I have psoriasis
Mhm.
and I'm a mom.
Mhm.
I know I'm supposed to put my
Right.
cream on there. I know I'm
Mhm.
supposed to do this.
Mhm.
Sometimes I don't because my psoriasis catch up. But
Uh-huh.
and so it was also a process. The stigma that we talk about that society has, I had against myself
Sure.
too.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously,
You were guilty
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
believing in the stigma
All
and
of it.
attacking yourself.
Yeah.
Sure.
and
I think I can identify with that as well.
Mhm.
When, you know, I went through and still go through my bout with anxiety and panic. And yeah, I was like, how could I ever, like, I just lost a lot of my self-esteem, my confidence, and just
Amen.
like,
Mhm.
Yep.
how could I be this and be that? How can I do this but be that? You know, and it was
Yeah.
always that until,
Yeah.
you know, therapy kicks in and
Right. And
You
that's
work
why
it.
I don't like the words
Mhm.
because, and again, a lot of people I love just don't
Mhm.
understand mental illness.
Sure.
Look at your life. You have so much to be
Yes.
grateful for. Why are you depressed?
You got a house.
I'm not
you got kids,
depressed.
you got-
I have a chemical imbalance. Like whatever
Exactly.
words we want to use, it's
Yeah.
not cured with snapping out of it.
Absolutely. There is no snap. There is
No.
no switch. And also just to mention, because we are talking about women here as, you know, as a
Mhm.
overarching thing, is to also recognize the role that hormones play
Yes.
in this. I always say if I go back for my doctorate, it's going to be
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gender studies, how it affects.
focusing
Oh, yeah. No
on
doubt.
hormonal, you
Yeah.
know, imbalances with women
Yeah.
between our thyroid and our ovaries and our brain,
Mhm.
all, you know, fighting for
Yeah.
the same kind of chemical hormones, whatever. That's a whole other
No,
topic.
no, no. You're right. I actually, when I gave birth to Cole,
Mhm.
nobody knew, you know, what was going on, how
Mhm.
bad things were.
Right.
I had this multiple sclerosis thing,
Mhm.
and I almost bled to death.
Mhm.
And they thought now they don't know the multiple sclerosis, so all these things I'm getting treated for. They thought I bled so much that my thyroid died. So I'm taking thyroid, estrogen, all these things I don't need. Really, I don't function like a woman anymore because
Right.
I've been on drugs for so long.
Uh-huh.
I haven't had my period. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
like this
Everything
is
gets
I'm
so,
not woman. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I just exist.
Mhm.
And like you said, when I started, you know, I had to have my ovary removed. I have cysts. I had a lump in my breast. So
and
but
that's
as soon
all
as-
hormone
Yeah,
imbalance
exactly.
and estrogen up here.
since
No
I've been
estrogen.
so and
Yeah.
then they found out your thyroid works. You shouldn't
Mhm.
have been on this. And
Ugh.
now I don't have. Now again, thank God I have my family. They were helping me, but I can't get employed because I'm a felon.
Mhm.
And I can't get
Mm.
insurance. And I have, you know, cysts and I have lumps and I have breasts.
Uh-huh.
So I,
How-
you know, went on family care and thank
Uh-huh.
God for family care.
Mhm.
I was on general welfare and food stamps and family care. And
Because that's how you can actually gain
best I
access
could
to
do.
medical
Yeah.
treatment and medication.
Right.
Yeah. And,
now,
and it's truly sad. You know, I think, you know, just all these barriers
Mhm.
to recovery,
Right.
you know, like,
Yeah.
and had I not found CPC, I'm not under psychiatric care. I'm going to what works.
Right.
And what works? Pills and alcohol.
Mhm.
And that's the truth.
Right,
So it's no,
absolutely. Yep.
fatal flaw, moral,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Right.
it's a choice. No.
No.
My mind needs
Yeah.
help. And so I
Absolutely.
would have got help. So
Mhm.
again, CPC, my family, like my parents, I was very fortunate. They
Mhm.
got us, you know, they let me live there.
Mhm.
Then they got us a real small apartment to live in.
Wow.
They helped me get my driver's license.
Mhm.
They paid my fines. If they didn't pay my fines, I'd still be in trouble. Like,
Yeah.
so women
Right.
that don't have that, you're unemployable and you have $10,000 in
Absolutely.
fines. Let me know how that works.
Absolutely.
You're
You're stuck.
yeah.
You're
You
literally
have no driver's
stuck.
license and you have to get to freehold for drug court twice a week.
drug court. You have to take your kids to make sure they
Yeah.
show up here
Yeah.
and there and to school. And that is just,
Right.
I mean, I feel like we have 10 more episodes right
Right.
here to talk
Yeah.
about.
Right.
So you are now on your journey of wellness. Thank God. And actually just thanks you. You know, you did this.
It's God. It's people like Ken. It's people like Rashidah. It's people at CPC.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really is. And that's why I went back to school.
And so you're on your journey of wellness.
Mhm.
You are getting well. You go back to school for your master's. You are now a mental health counselor and with a specialization in addiction. You're a CADC as well. You're an LAC, a CADC. So
I want to just share something
Sure.
real quick,
Yeah, go ahead.
you know, because it ties into that. I remember when you first came to do the internship and just the energy,
Mhm.
the eagerness,
Mhm.
the wanting to learn. I mean, you were just like ready to go, you know, and I just want to just share that
Thank
with
you.
you that I was
Thank
just
you.
like in awe of you.
And when I worked, I did practicum under Rashidah. That was actually at a partial care program for people with, you know, what we would
Mhm.
is more impactful mental
Mhm.
illness. And
Yes.
Penny, who
Mhm.
was
Mhm.
amazing.
Penny.
Yeah, Penny was amazing. She
Penny.
said, you know, what's going on? I was like, I'm a little nervous. She goes, you can't say anything to hurt them. You can't say anything to break them,
Right.
meaning they're the strongest,
Yes.
most
Right.
amazing individuals. I
Yep.
was so privileged to work there.
Mhm.
We served them lunch.
Mhm.
My favorite part of the day. My favorite part of the day. When they, oh my God, like obviously.
knowing everybody's name.
Yes,
Knowing what they want. Now,
yes.
listen, I can't hear, so they're calling out their names. I'm trying to do everything just so, but I want them to know, I know you like milk.
Yes.
I know you like
Yep.
orange. I know.
Yep.
And what a connection. Thank you. And again,
Yep.
living
Mhm.
with mental illness,
Mhm.
thriving with
Yes.
mental
Yes.
Yes.
health
Yes.
disorders,
Yes.
with mental health
Yes.
challenges, whatever we want to use.
Absolutely.
These people over there, that's where I cut my teeth.
Mhm.
That's where I learned.
Mhm.
And that I loved it. And
I
then
love
I
that.
eventually,
Love.
went over
Mhm.
to the addiction recovery
To
side.
ARS,
But
right?
we know they're all
Listen.
co-occurring anyway.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Which we've talked about here. We
Yeah.
talked about it last
Yep.
week with Ken and Mike. So you're on this journey of wellness, and here you are. I know we're speeding through stuff,
No,
but
no,
it's
no.
for the sake of
No.
time. So talk to me. I want to know 2 more things, and then I'm sure Rashidah wants to know something. But I read a lot about you online. You are very
Mhm.
vocal about getting your record expunged,
Yeah.
and for all the reasons why you've said so. And please talk about the Hope is Never Lost non-for-profit with your children.
Right. So I applied. My mother and father, again, God, they were just amazing.
Mm.
And my dad was financially supporting the kids and I. I divorced. I was on my own. I
Mhm.
have sole financial responsibility for my children.
Mhm.
And it was a lot of pressure on my parents. And my parents said, this is a forgiving world. You should be able to get your law license back.
Right.
When I surrendered my law license, they said, on the record, go get better and you get your law license back. So my parents retained attorneys. They spent about $30,000. We filed a motion. The Supreme Court granted what's called an order to show cause and had oral argument, which means we want to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Great.
like,
The best thing I think
right?
you could possibly ask for.
And can you imagine
who can better advocate for themselves than?
Well, no.
Yeah.
But my parents hired a high-powered attorney. I mean, we're doing this. They spent
Gotcha.
$30,000
Oh
getting
my gosh.
getting everything in line. We had everything. We go for the order to show cause. The girls were with me. The boys had sports and football. My everything.
Mm-hmm.
The everything seemed good. The questions seemed good.
Mhm.
A week later, they write a one sentence and say no. And I didn't want to be an attorney to be the old attorney. But number one, I don't want to be a disbarred attorney anymore.
Sure.
And number two,
Mm.
I can't make money. At least if
Right.
I could be an attorney, I'd be in my
Right,
own practice. I'll work for myself. I can have
Right.
insurance. So it was crushing. And then at the same time, my dad was 70 years old and he was taking a blood thinner and he tragically bled to death.
Oh my God.
My hero. I was there when he bled to death. My mom was with us. And, the kids, now they lost someone, it was just horrible.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was horrible. That was 2014. And then my mom had a heart attack, like within 2 weeks. She was 68, no real health issues. And she died within 15 months.
my
So that next
goodness.
15 months was just help mom, try to be there for mom. And again, this is where life is life. She died on hospice and all that was right there.
Mhm.
And I held my mom's hand, never looked over at the stuff.
You
That's what
continued on your
recovery does.
journey
That's what
of
treating
wellness.
mental illness
Yes,
does. Well, I'm
yes.
not a hero for that.
Right.
I didn't need it.
You-
I didn't want it.
You did the work.
Yeah.
You did the work. You learned.
And now my brain is finally.
Mm-hmm.
So after my parents died, now they did leave us a house but it had a small mortgage and I don't know what I'm going to do now. So I read about the drug court expungement statute.
Mhm.
Anyone who graduated drug court gets an expungement. Me.
Yes. Yes.
And you know what this means? I can go back
can
and
work.
become a licensed clinician.
Uh-huh.
I can never be a licensed clinician because there's background check.
Right.
I can't
Right.
do any of that because of background check.
Background checks, fingerprinting, all
Everything.
the stuff we
So
have
you
to go
can't
through.
do that.
Right.
Who's going to let a child abuser work
Right.
with
Child
children?
abuser,
And that's what I
convicted
look
felon.
like on
Uh-huh. On
paper.
paper.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
now I'm all in. I apply to Seton Hall. I apply to Monmouth. I get into Monmouth. I file my papers. Thank God again, even though I don't have my license, I'm still an attorney, so I do
Yeah.
everything. Nobody
Right.
else can do that. New
Mhm.
Jersey is the most convoluted system. I can hardly do it.
Mm.
So I start
Interesting.
Monmouth September 18th. My hearing is on October 20th for my expungement, and I'm ready to go.
Mhm. Mhm.
And October 20th, I got denied.
How on earth?
There are a certain list of crimes that are very violent and very dangerous crimes that can never be expunged. They include murder and they include sexual child abuse. And because the statute changed so many times, my endangering is now swooped into here. The judge, Judge Kilgallen, she said on record, I hope you appeal. I hope you win. I hope I'm wrong. Wow. All the drug court judges agree this is wrong. We keep having to deny who? Women. Any woman that was drunk driving that didn't have an accident probably has an endangering charge. Any woman with possession of a substance has an endangering charge. Right. So who's getting denied these?
Women.
All the women.
And now you're grouped into this sexual,
worse than exactly.
Which is, go to prison, right? What's the, any sexual offenders against children. So where are you now in the journey? Are you appealing?
I did appeal.
Yes.
I did the appeal on my own. My kids helped me write out all the things. We did it as a family. The ACLU came in and wrote amicus curiae, which is like a support brief. Public defenders did. And the appellate division in one fell swoop said, too bad, go to the legislator. So I appealed to the Supreme Court. I lost there too. I figure, okay, take this to the legislature. Now, being a felon, there are over 1,000 collateral consequences for being a felon. Can't get licensed. I can't be a class mom. I can't be a coach. An academic American can't volunteer as a coach because I'm a criminal. I'm a felon, another word I hate. So now it's not only are you demeaning me, but now you're at my kids because I don't know what I'm going to do.
Right. And then your kids get denied all of this.
They can't have me. So, and I'm in school. So do I move forward like with this investment and fight, or do I quit? And I was at the courthouse alone, a court I practiced in for 10 years. And I cried and I looked up and I said, Mom and Dad, I quit. I'm giving up. I'll get written out on medical thing. I got the medical reasons for it. I'm done. And I thought of other people. I thought, like, if you're quitting, what about the rest of them, Nick? Who is going to do this? You're the only person that can do this. And really, I heard my dad saying, stop staring at the wall and feeling sorry for yourself. And my mom saying, we got you.
And hope is never lost.
Exactly. So I went on. I graduated. The law just got passed out of the assembly. It passed unanimously out of the assembly judiciary. Governor Murphy has indicated through his chief counsel, if I can get the bill to his desk, he will sign it.
How do we get the bill to the desk?
Senate Judiciary Committee. We got to get the bill through the Senate. I never knew civics until now.
How do you do that? And if I can help in any way,
I call there 7 times a day. It is
well, you could give me the number.
We have great bipartisan support of the bill.
Amazing.
Republican senators, Democratic senators. In the assembly, it passed, I want to say 60 yes votes, 8 no's. So there's widespread support. Now, how has this taken 3 years? I don't know the answer to that. But the other important point is I have also asked Governor Murphy for clemency. And I think this is a real important point because a lot of people don't fit in this really convoluted old thing.
Right.
Expungement system. And we need to use the power to give these
clemency,
people.
Could you just define?
It's basically the same as expungement, just different words. Wipe. So he grants it, not the legislator.
Gotcha.
I also, Monmouth County prosecutor, shout out to them because Lori Linsky, she has worked with me. She's a new prosecutor.
Yeah,
she really is great, Rashidah.
Yes.
And she said she wrote a letter on my behalf. Like, there's not a person that's against this, but we can't get it done.
Right. Well, you haven't gotten
We're
it
going
done
to get it.
yet.
Yeah, hope is never lost.
Yeah,
there we go.
Right.
Never
We
lost.
haven't gotten it done
There
yet
we go.
because hope is never lost.
Exactly.
Okay, so really, if you need me to call,
I appreciate
hold
that.
signs and walk on march wherever we need to. I'm there.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that want to.
Yeah, well, I started an online petition, and we have over 10,000 signatures.
Okay.
And also, the most important thing was I was able to get licensed despite my felonies. So that is how.
Well
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if at least I'm working now, and that's what Hope Was Never Lost about. As soon as I got my licenses, we founded Hope Was Never Lost. We've bought a tricycle for a beautiful girl with Down syndrome. We have bought 2 children, live in a family, and they have 3 autistic siblings, and they go to the food bank, but they have very special food needs. So we bought them some food cards. And then another little boy with his mom is unfortunately in substance use disorder, and she's out of his life. And I bought him a bed where he lives with his aunt. And so, we, you know what I mean? And that's to honor what my parents did for me, to honor what CPC did, to honor what everybody did. And that is, the way it goes. I only keep what I have by giving it away.
Yes.
So there's there's no
Yes.
thank you. People don't understand. I don't think the fullness of our job. I don't. If you're having a bad mood, go to lunchtime at CPC. Go there.
I want to come back.
I want to come back.
I want to. There are so many people that I miss there.
Honestly,
I want to do a guest lunch. I want to get permission. You are a queen, a rock star, a gladiator, a warrior. I want to find the female terms for all of these things, but you are unbelievable. I can't even.
Well, I don't use the word blessed because I don't want people to think that God selected me out for favor or whatever higher power there's. It's happenstance. I was saved twice by Narcan, and I think people need to know that. So people who've lost their loved ones, we honor them. People who are still struggling, we honor you.
Yes.
Look, was it a lot of work? And do you have to maintain this daily? Of course, we all do.
Absolutely.
The wellness is a
Yes.
journey, and that's why there's no, I'm absent now, I'm sober. No, there's none of that. But people need to understand that just because somebody's not exactly where I am on the journey, hope is never lost. It doesn't mean you're not going to get to where we are.
Yeah.
I think you remember one time I was really close to a client. I can't hear him,
Yes,
so it's
yes,
still,
yes.
things still come up, different things. It's a daily whatever, but people just need to understand we're together. I didn't get this expungement on my own. 10,000 signatures. Can you
That is
imagine?
amazing.
Every professor at Monmouth, my classmates, everything, my children's friends. That's what community does. That's what
and
lifting
connection.
women up
Yes.
does.
Yes.
That's what being
Empowering.
authentic
Yes.
does.
Yes.
That is what it does. So that is where the beauty lies, is that if anyone sees my story, again, I know it's like whatever, but really hope is
Nikki,
never lost.
everyone needs to know your story.
Oh, absolutely.
Hope is never lost.
When
A
are you
brain
going
injury.
to like Netflix and having this? I'm serious. Like
Well,
this is, you need to share this.
We got somebody who's
amazing
does
how many
things like that.
obstacles the poor soul had to
he's
go
gonna
through.
do the
right.
hookup.
And who? What?
He's gonna do the hookup.
Yeah. I mean, we have. We'll talk. We'll talk after we wrap. But Christian, because he's a writer as well. So yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah,
Nikki, I mean, I feel like this is only the beginning. You must come back again
Yeah,
and
I
again and
would-
again. We
and
have
I love
so
what
much
you're
more
doing.
to talk.
because again,
Thank
it is
you.
okay not to be okay.
It's okay
Yes.
not
And
to
what
be
is
okay.
okay?
What is okay anyway? What is okay? What is normal? What is perfect? We don't know.
This water is okay.
We don't care. Yeah, it's okay. Thank
Yeah.
you. You
Thank
are
you
an
both.
absolute. I mean, I'm like, I feel like I have electricity running through. You are the
Please.
true definition of like a living being. Like you're living. You're just a warrior, a mother warrior, like
Shero.
just a Shero.
Shero,
You're
Shero.
incredible. Please come back.
I promise
a million
I will. Thank
times.
you so much.
And
Oh my
I just
God.
want to say,
Thank
Joy, who
Yes.
is definitely a friend to the show. She talks about we go through to bring through.
You go through to grow through, right?
Bring through.
Bring through.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's like your journey,
Mhm.
will hopefully
bring,
bring
right.
someone else through.
Yeah, you have to go on Joy's show. Joy, you got to get Nikki on your
Joy.
show.
Yes.
Yeah, you need
The
your
Well,
voice.
I know you guys appreciate this. Substance use disorder
Uh-huh.
addiction only goes in the dark. And
Uh-huh.
we've got the lights on it
Uh-huh,
now. You know what I mean?
exactly.
And we've got the
We're shining
lights
all
on
the
it now.
lights in the dark
Mental
corners.
health,
Yep.
like we are, people are going to know you're not
Absolutely.
alone.
You're
We-
not alone, and it's
Yeah.
a disease.
Nope, it
It
is.
is a
Thank
freaking
you.
disease.
It's a disease.
Thank you.
And it's manageable.
It's
it
manageable.
can be managed.
Yes.
Look at,
Yes,
right?
it
I
absolutely
mean,
can.
yeah.
Like any, yes. Okay, bowl of no shame time.
She's on fire.
I'm so like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself after the show. Like I can't.
see, now this
even.
is truth. I have anxiety about this already.
No, it's all good. I promise. These are fun questions. You just told you exposed
I'll
your
be more
innards.
worried about not
No.
having the right answer.
No,
there is my favorite
There
food
is no right answer.
This is a good one.
What is it?
What is one thing that can instantly make your day better?
let's see. We all have to answer.
Mhm.
So, what is the thing that can instantly
I don't want to say mine because it's just.
my day
Redundant.
better?
Why am I eating?
I think
Sour Patch?
the thing. I have two answers for this. One is like waking up and knowing that all is well in my world, my family, my friends, are good. We're all good. And the other one would be music, like
That's
a
a
good
great
song,
That's a great
like to
one.
just, yeah. So that would be me. What about you two? What about you two?
Want me to go? You
lovely
wanna go?
ladies?
I think just being able to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many people don't wake up.
Air in the lungs.
And that I'm
Uh-huh.
able to just get up and see a new day.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like the kids, dogs, my
Mm-hmm.
occupation. I don't even like to use the word work,
Mm-hmm.
but
Love it.
the real answer would be feelings.
Feeling.
Feelings let me know I'm
Uh-huh.
alive. They let me
Love it.
even the bad feelings. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Yep.
even the bad feelings.
Love it.
It's
Mhm.
good
Love
to
it.
yeah.
See, you did fine, Nikki. All
Feel
right.
serious like
Cheers, right? You're like, feelings.
Nothing
more
more
than
than
feelings.
Okay, so here, what is your most prized possession
We sang
and
really
why?
I know we could get something
Right?
going.
Come on, we'll do a show every Thursday. Try the veal. Okay, so what is your most prized possession and why?
Again, like
Mhm.
the shallow thing would be my recovery, but
That's
probably
not shallow.
Well, but like
I'm on the. No, I'm kidding.
the
Sorry.
thing that means a lot to me that's a physical,
Yeah.
tangible thing.
I've
These
been
are
looking
my
at it all.
mom's earrings,
Beautiful.
and this is my dad's earring.
Oh,
Oh, so
And when my
beautiful.
dad died, I got his earring, and then after I lost my mom, I put that here, and it's always in my heart. Hope is never lost, and I'm always reminded, and I make them proud. So this
Love
is
it.
yeah,
It's
I
beautiful.
love this.
So
I,
gorgeous.
I
It's
love
Yes,
I've
it
been
is.
literally
Yeah.
looking at
Can
it.
you?
this
And
whole
it's
time.
them. It's them. Like
And they're
God,
sitting right on your heart. I love it.
Yes.
And they're shining bright.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it.
I know
love
that song, "Shine Bright Like a Diamond."
Yeah, it's right. Like a
Shine
diamond.
bright like a
Right?
Your mom and dad's dying.
Right. It's
But I
okay.
do.
I
I
can
love
still-
it. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Rashida?
I don't know
For
why
me?
Pump Up the Jam came into
Oh.
my head. I know I went pump up the jam,
Pump
pump it up. Oh, your feet
All
are
right, we are
pumping.
so over time. Christian is going to kill us. My husband's like, and then what's yours? I know what mine is.
Oh, I don't know what mine is.
Mine is my ring from my Nana.
See, okay,
So, she's-
right.
That's her. That's
a
her.
memento.
Yep,
And we
her
learned that
name
about
and-
grief.
exactly.
They're
Yep.
living honor. Yeah,
Yep. I feel like and this goes right to the heart or whatever.
Oh,
or
I
at least
love
I
that.
believe so.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's mine. You?
My prized possessions are my kids.
Love
And
it. Now I
just-
feel bad. My son.
And
Triplets.
And,
Yeah, yeah.
This is a story
Dogs.
for
Bad mom. Bad mom.
a story for another day.
Mhm.
Like I was told that I wouldn't be able to have kids. So I just really I have like a lot of them now.
You got a whole litter
Like,
of them.
what was you talking about,
Uh-huh,
lady?
right,
Like
exactly. Why'd you have
And
to put
really
me
quick,
through
I
that?
know we have to go,
Yep.
but in fairness, you said when you first met me, when I first met Rashidah, and she shared a couple things, I was just like in awe. I just like in awe.
amazing,
Your work ethic, your
Zero.
human empathy, and your
Mhm,
professionalism. Like she
mhm.
knows her shit.
Yes, she does.
I
she
learned
does.
so
try.
much
No,
from
you
working
don't
under.
try.
Yeah.
You do.
No, you got to
honey.
see her work in
Own
group.
it.
room.
I can
I'm moving,
just
like-
imagine. Love it.
And she dances in group too.
I love it.
She does.
Yes, it gets me like fired
Love
up.
it.
I should have been a dancer.
Okay, well,
Beyonce.
listen, it's
Yeah.
never too.
I'm ready.
It's never too late. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Download us. Check out Nikki's nonprofit.
Yeah, we're on Facebook
Hope is
too.
Never Lost.
Yeah, let's
Please.
put that up there.
Hope is Never Lost on Facebook. Check them out. Give them a like. See what you can do
Support them.
to support and
And reach out if anyone needs anything more than anything else. I'm on Facebook, Nikki Tierney.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Mhm.
whatever. Because again, that's where I get my fullness
beautiful.
is
Love it.
by
Yes.
empowering others.
Yeah. Reach
Somebody's hands
Make this
yeah.
a better place.
If
You're
you
way
can.
better at
He's
singing than us.
amazing.
Yeah.
So download us, like us, go to SoundCloud, go to iTunes,
Spotify.
Rashidah and I will be back in a couple of weeks. We're going to be doing some behind the scenes stuff and take care of
Just
yourself.
quick,
Yeah.
shout out to CPC.
Yes.
Yeah,
always.
beautiful.
like CPC.
Yes.
honestly.
Yes.
If anyone you know
Yeah.
is struggling
Yeah.
Right.
with mental health, with
Right.
addiction,
Yes.
reach out to CPC in Monmouth County. And if
We're
anybody
there.
you know is outside of Monmouth County, reach out to Rashidah and I. You know how to get
Yes,
us, and
yes.
we will get you
We'll find
linked.
a way.
We'll get you linked up.
We'll
so
find a way.
thank you, everybody. everybody, and
Thank
Nikki
you.
Tierney. I mean,
Thank you both.
oh, I
I'm very
can't wait.
humbled.
I feel like I'm going to be eating popcorn in the movie theater, like watching your stuff. And I
just want to play myself in the movie.
Who's going to play you?
Play our
I
own
feel like
selves. I think we're that talented.
I think. I mean, yeah.
Yes.
To be
Lawyers all
continued.
about acting.
I love
really,
it.
You know,
Hey,
people
yes.
you gotta Nikki's gonna play herself. All right,
But I was
Christian,
wearing my
can
wig
you
in the first
play
part
us
of
out
the
of this
episode,
incredible
and then I was
episode.
then
Thank
the
you,
afro.
everybody. Be well.
It was the wig first, guys, and then I transferred to the
Yeah,
afro.
absolutely.
The Not Okay, It's Okay podcast includes casual conversations related to mental health, self-care, practical tips and resources, along with validation that not being okay is okay. You acknowledge and agree that the following warnings and disclaimers shall apply to all of our content.
This podcast represents the opinions of Hilary Scheer, LPC, and Rashidah Cartwright, LCADC, and their guests to the show. The information provided is for informational purposes only, and we recommend that you consult with a healthcare professional for medical or mental health advice.
The views and opinions expressed in the Not Okay, It's Okay podcast are our own and do not represent that of our places of work. Do not use our content in lieu of professional advice given by qualified medical or mental health professionals. Always seek the advice of your own medical mental health provider related to your specific medical or mental health condition prior to implementing any recommendations or suggestions from using our content.
Privacy is of great importance to us. That being said, all people, places, and scenarios mentioned in the podcast have been changed to protect patient confidentiality.